The moment fire first touched wood, humans discovered a secret that would echo through centuries. Heat could transform timber from fragile and fleeting into durable and enduring. Before chemical preservatives, before industrial kilns, civilizations relied on controlled fire to protect, strengthen, and preserve the very structures and tools they depended on. A plank straight from the forest could warp, split, or rot within years, but once treated with the right heat, it could last generations. Understanding the science behind this ancient wisdom is not just academic, it is survival knowledge, historical insight, and practical skill rolled into one. Whether you are building a replica longhouse, restoring period tools, or preparing for off-grid living, mastering wood heat treatment is a skill that separates temporary work from lasting craftsmanship. Why the hearth was the first laboratory for wood treatment. Long before specialized workshops existed, homes and communal hearths served as experimental spaces for timber treatment. People noticed that beams near the fireplace resisted rot and insect damage more than those in cold, damp corners. This was not coincidence. Heat from the hearth slowly removed bound moisture within the wood, while smoke imparted chemical compounds that further repelled decay. Blackened beams in Viking halls and medieval barns are living testimony to this practice. For practical application, one can replicate this by placing small pieces of timber near a controlled fire, ensuring they are not exposed to flames but benefit from steady radiant heat and smoke over weeks. This simple method improves resilience without complex tools. How slow heating changes the internal structure of wood. When wood is exposed to heat gradually, the cellular structure begins to transform. Linen, the natural polymer binding fibers together, softens and realigns, allowing moisture to escape without causing cracking. Hemicellulose, which holds water within the cell walls, partially breaks down, further reducing the material's affinity for moisture. This combination produces wood that is lighter, harder, and more resistant to environmental stress. Ancient craftsmen exploited this principle intuitively. In Japanese woodworking, for example, heat-treated timber was used for long-lasting roof battens that resisted both rot and insect activity. Practically, this means when you heat wood, patience is critical. Low temperatures over longer periods outperform high heat that scorches the surface while leaving the core unstable. Why smoke and controlled flames were more than mere warmth. Beyond heat, smoke served as an early preservative. Combustion produces phenolic compounds and other chemical agents that penetrate the wood surface, deterring fungi and pests. Historical smokehouses and timber drying sheds were designed to maintain a smoky, warm environment without burning the wood. The method can be applied today by creating a small, ventilated smoking chamber using a steady, low-heat fire and wood chips that produce dense smoke. By rotating timber and monitoring surface color, you achieve an even treatment that strengthens the material while adding a layer of chemical protection. How the forge extended these lessons to tools and implements. The principles discovered at the hearth found a second life in the forge. Blacksmiths and early carpenters recognized that heat could stabilize not just beams, but also handles, shafts, and tools. By carefully controlling forge temperature, they hardened shafts without inducing brittleness, allowing spears, mallets, and cart axles to endure repeated use. The key was subtlety. The wood was heated near but not beyond the point where surface charring would occur, then cooled gradually to lock in the internal stability. You can replicate this on a small scale by gently warming a wooden mallet or tool handle over embers, avoiding direct flame, and letting it cool slowly in ambient air. When heat treatments outperform air drying alone. Air drying is invaluable for stability, but slow heat introduces additional resilience. Timber dried only in open air remains vulnerable to fungi and insects, particularly in humid climates. Heat treatments combine moisture reduction with chemical protection, creating wood that resists both decay and infestation. The most reliable approach blends traditional methods. Begin with air drying to allow the timber to release free moisture slowly. Once partially seasoned, introduce gentle heat or smoke treatment, monitoring temperature and exposure time carefully. Modern chemicals and kilns offer convenience, but the principles discovered in hearths and forges remain irreplaceable. Heat treatment improves strength, reduces moisture absorption, and extends functional life without complex equipment or toxic additives. For historians, reenactors, and survivalists, this knowledge bridges the past and present, offering a method that is as effective now as it was 1,000 years ago. Mastering wood through hearth and forge transforms it from raw material into a lasting legacy. By combining patience, controlled heat, and historical wisdom, you can produce timber and tools that survive decades instead of years. For those who value heritage, practical skill, and enduring results, this is knowledge worth preserving. Don't forget to subscribe to Thermal Vault, share this with fellow enthusiasts, and keep these ancient methods alive in your own projects.